We all hate it when it happens. You know, you go to open the door, you didn't know that your little 3-year-old took the door stopper off. Then you open the door, you open it, it's like, oh, man, what are we gonna do? Well, I'm about to show you. Daryl, also known as the finisher, I'm gonna show you my methods to prepare this to perfection, all right? Let's go. All right, first things first. You want to check to see where the stud is, all right? You can just, with something like this, you just reach inside the hole. And actually, I feel the stud. The stud's about right here. It's about 3 inches from the hole. I don't have to use the stud, and I'm not going to because I don't want to make this hole larger than I have to, okay? So now, I just need to measure the size and get an approximate measurement. You don't need it to be exact. So I say across is about 6 inches across, and from the highest point to the lowest point, it's about 4 inches, all right? So 6 by 4, that's the size piece we need. Let's go get some drywall. All right, to get this whole repair started, this is all I need right here. These little bit of tools, man, tape measure, the utility knife, little piece of drywall, and you're gonna need some wood, something for the drywall to hold on to, all right? So what we say was 4 by 6. So we're just gonna go this way, and we're just gonna go about 4.5. And I just use this to mark, because like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Does not have to be perfect. So I'll mark it right 4.5, then I turn it and just cut. Also, make sure you subscribe. We're growing this Handyman 2.0 community. And also, anything you see, most things that I use are gonna be in affiliate links below. So check it out. Now take it this way, it's gonna be 6. So remember, our piece was 6 by 4. So just mark a little piece at 6 and do the same thing. Cut there, boom. Got our little piece. Bam, this is all we need. Nothing perfect. Notice it's not a perfect parallelogram, but it's fine. That's all we need. Put that to the side. Next thing. We need to get small pieces of wood. Any kind of wood will work. This is just a cut piece of plywood. It's just some plywood scrap that I got laying around. One thing I do like to do though, is I take the wood, let it sit on top of there, because I want the piece of wood that I'm gonna put in to be a little taller than the piece of wood, than the piece of drywall, right? So that's up there, that's down here. That's good. And then I just cut it. Make sure you wear eye protection. Another piece. And like I said, none of this has to be perfect. That's the beauty of drywall. It's not like finished carpentry or anything. It does not have to be perfect. But we're gonna make it look perfect. There we go. We just want 2 pieces. 1 for each side. All right. So essentially, that's what it's gonna look like in the wall. I'm gonna put this up, I'm gonna put that up. This is gonna be in there, and it's gonna attach. The wood is gonna attach up here, inside the drywall, and the drywall is gonna attach to it. And that's gonna be our very strong repair. Let's go do it. All right, next thing. All we gotta do is take that little piece of drywall, put it over top of our hole, and that's what I was saying, why it doesn't have to be perfect, because this is gonna be what our hole is gonna be the size of. So this is our template. We're gonna cut our hole. That looks good. Then I mark it, usually put an X here, an X on the wall, so I know the direction that this is supposed to go in. All right, and there it is. Now you cut it out. Now a good thing to remember to do is that you always want it bigger than the hole, because say like this area right here, if I need to match the paint, then I cut something bigger out and I save that piece that I cut out. So then I can just take it to the store and have it color matched. Now when it comes to cutting this hole, I really have 2 choices. I got the keyhole saw. You know, this is the old school, saw that it'll cut through drywall, no problem. That one, you just punch in like this, right? And then once it's in there, you can just cut. But I don't like to use this. And the reason why I don't like to use this, because it looks violent. Look at that thing. You know what I mean? I feel like if anything's in there, it's just gonna get cut. So I like using the multi-tool. But the multi-tool is gonna create a little more dust than this is gonna make. So I always have some sort of vacuum. Told you in another video, I'm addicted to vacuums. You know what I mean? Like, so I got my little handheld Makita here. And I told you, this multi-tool is like an extension of my hand. So, cut. There you go, nice little hole, and you got your little piece just in case you need to go get some more paint, all right? All right, next, we gotta put our reinforcement wood in here. And remember, when you screw down, when you put in drywall screws, you want drywall screws you want it to dimple the paper on the drywall. So you don't want it to go into the drywall, you just want it to kind of be dimpled in just a little bit. So let me kind of show you. Now they make special attachments that you can put on here on your drill bits and stuff that'll get it in, or you could just even have just a drywall screw gun, which is normally what I use. But I'm not using that today, man. I'm a man of the people. So I'm just using this regular screwdriver, or just a regular driver. Put this in here. And yes, this is an exterior wall, so there's insulation, but that's not a problem. And I want to sit it just like that, where I can screw in here and I get the drywall where the corners, essentially you want the corners of the drywall where they're flush. And with this piece of wood back here, the corners and the sides, they're all gonna be tight. So I slow it down. And it's just dimpled in there. Now see that? It's just dimpled in. Do the same thing on the other side. And you don't need 5 million screws, man. Like some people will go in and they'll put 5,000 screws in these things. You just don't need it, all right? But if you don't get it dimpled in, it's gonna be sticking out, and it would irritate me to no end. Okay, so dimple the thing, okay? All right. Now we take our little drywall piece. Now see how that is? Solid. And we just need 4 more screws. And then what I do, if there's any edges, any lines that are sticking up a little bit, just cut them off. So if there are any little lines sticking up a little bit, cut them off. It's all right. Bottom's good, top's good. Time for some tape and mud. Now it's time to make some mud. I know what you're thinking. Don't turn this video off yet. I know what you're thinking, like, this dude got a bread pan. He don't know what he's doing. I promise you I know what I'm doing, all right? Look, whenever you use hot mud, and that's what this is, in the industry they call it hot mud. It's just some setting, it has a setting compound in it. So this is 45 minute set time. It really doesn't matter for this small of a job because I'm gonna put a heater on it anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But when drywall sets up in your pan, when hot mud, sets up in your pan, it can be irritating just getting it out. But with these silicone pans, I got one saved. This is my empty one, but I got one saved with, it just comes right out. I mean, comes right out. throw it in the trash. Makes cleanup much easier when you have one of these baking pans. And I only use these for really small jobs, like little small patches, and they work out great. I have a few of them on deck. I can just get that hot mud out real quick, dump it out, put some more in, and then go to work. So, another tip. But anyway, got a clean one here. We're gonna put hot mud in here. And we don't need but so much, we only need a little bit. And then we just mix it to perfection. And you need the bread pan because you need the rim around the outside to be solid. Because that way you can still use your knife on the side of the pan. If you get one of them super floppy ones that doesn't have a reinforced sides, then you're just wasting your time. Beautiful. Let's put up some tape. All right, everybody seems to have their mud of choice, okay? Mine, fiber fuse. I love this stuff, man. I didn't even know about this stuff until it was a few years back. I had a guy I was doing subcontracting for, and they supplied all the materials, and he's like, yeah, we just use fiber fuse like exclusively on repairs now. And I was like, really? Never even tried this stuff. Let me tell you something, once I tried it, this is all I use. So, I just get a good decent amount. What you're gonna do, first thing I'm gonna push some mud into this, into the holes, into the lines. Make sure they're all filled with mud before I do anything. Then I cut this off flat, then I just start going across. Put it here. And when you go around the edges, of course, you're kind of pushing down one side while having the other up, and when you're scraping, so you're kind of leaving it. You kind of feathering it. Even if you don't feather it well, though, we can fix that when we sand. All right, that's it. But let me show you something else I do to speed up the process. All right, now I wanted to show you something real quick. You could stand here with a heat gun and dry this, and it shouldn't take too long, right? But sometimes I got other things to do. Matter of fact, most of the time I have other things to do. So I always get one of these little heaters. So electric heater. You see I dropped drywall mud on the front one time drying the ceiling off. But this thing is great. Little mini heater. I put it on the table. I set it up all sorts of different ways depending on the height of the job. And I just stick the heater on it. Get them. And it has a fan built into it. It's not just a space heater regular. It has a fan built in. It'll blow that heat right on it. And then I let that dry it for me while I go do something else. All right, let's check our repair, like I said, with our little heater on it. Look at that, nice and dry. And we didn't have to stand here. Now, I'm gonna tell you this though. If you use a heat gun, it's gonna go a little faster. So if you want the layer to dry a little faster, heat gun, or hey, if you don't have a heat gun, you don't have to buy one. Just get a blow dryer. It'll work just fine. All right, now I got a nice little drywall pan, and I need to put my topping compound on. Now what I use is called +3, and just know that it's the one with the blue lid. The USG product with the blue lid. All right? You mix it up the same way with water as you do with the other kind, but I don't need to mix up water. I don't think I do. No, mine's already mixed with water. You don't even need that much, but let's go. So the second layer, we're only gonna bring this up. It's just gonna be a little bit bigger, maybe 3 inches bigger than the repair, than the original repair. Now this time, I'm gonna take my heat gun and we're gonna drive back a little faster. I changed my mind. I don't feel like standing here anymore. So I'm just gonna put my heater on and go do something else. I'll be back. All right, move the heater. I'm all finished. That should be, the second layer is done, nice and dry. All right, time for the last layer. All right, now it's time to sand. Normally I have a headlamp on and I just didn't have time to go get it, so I got the vacuum and I got my little flashlight. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can either swipe from the outside to the inside, and as you're doing, you're coming up, so you're kind of like erasing, if there is an edge, you're erasing that edge. Or you could just go in circles. And you could go in circles all the way around the repair. And that's normally what I do. And if you do that, it'll go ahead and just level itself out. Any ridges, any lines, you could just scrape those off with your knife, like a little 4-inch knife or whatever you got. And then what the light allows you to do is it allows you to just see any little detail imperfections, to see it close up, to get a perfect repair. And there it is, there you have it. Repair complete, nice and smooth. In my area, nobody does texture on walls, it's all painted, so it has to be really flat. So I'm gonna give you a view from the side so you can see just how flat it is. And I'm not painting this one. Hey, like I said, a lot of times people wanna paint it themselves. You're more than welcome, all right? But I'm gonna put a video up here where I actually did have a repair where I had to paint, so you can see just how perfect it can be. All right, and as well as some other things in that video. It's a beautiful thing. But Daryl, also known as the finisher, signing off. Stay safe and be blessed.